Good morning, everybody. This is Sean Martin. I have Rachel Hislop and Budget Blind marketing team here with us this morning. So just a couple of opening comments. In 2018, we absolutely grew market share in the independent dealer channel with Graber. We posted double-digit growth between the Graber and Costco programs. We have a lot of momentum heading into next year. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for budget blinds, and it is a very polarized look. When we drill down into franchises, we have about half of the franchises that are up 30%, and we have about half of the franchises that are down about 30%. That is something that we absolutely need to reverse as we head into 2019. We have some awesome programs, enhancements to the loyalty program. Budget Blinds is putting a very restricted view of what can be done promotionally within the vendor alliance. They put restrictions in terms of the types of promotions, what can be layered. We're going to walk you through that. We have pricing that we'll take you through, and we'll get into product launches, incentive travel, etc. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Rachel here.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Here's our agenda for today. So we're going to start by talking about pricing and promotions, move into the loyalty program, and talk about the incentive trip signature destinations. We'll also give you a high-level overview of product launches and marketing initiatives for 2019. We'll probably pause at that point and let you ask some questions regarding some of the marketing topics. And then Ed's going to take over and talk about some account priorities, and then we'll wrap it up. So pricing and promotions. Our strategy here at the corporate office is always to take the best performing promotions and try to optimize the calendar every year so that, we're growing our sales, but we're growing our profitability as well. And as Sean alluded to, the corporate office at Budget Blinds is really imposing some rules and restrictions this year regarding what all vendors can do. So they're really in effort trying to, I think, control the environment a little bit more than they have in years past. I think many of you would agree this last year kind of felt like the Wild West with some of the promotions that were getting slung into the Budget Blinds marketplace. And so we're going to walk through the Q1 calendar with you. And again, the strategy here, with the exception of a few events early in the year driven by convention, is really to run what we know to be our best performing events and run them for longer periods of time, quite frankly, because we've gotten a lot of feedback from franchisees that simple is better and longer promotions allow them more flexibility to advertise their franchise and advertise those offers. So here is a look at our Q1 calendar. So you'll see in January, we'll be running 10% off Signature Series cellular pleated and unison shades, as well as wood faux wood composite blinds and our solar and roller shades. They're our core products. These are profitable products for us. There's demand for them in the marketplace. And due to some of the new restrictions in terms of the % off you can offer, we felt like this was putting our best foot forward for the first month of January.
So let's maybe stop right here for a moment. I can't stress enough how important it is to get off to a fast start. The way that incentive travel and the momentum have franchises early on is really dictates how you perform in many ways through the balance of the year. Budget Blinds Corporate is dictating the types of promotions that are allowed this year. And there is a small menu that we were allowed to choose from when constructing our promotional calendar. We chose a 10% off discount. The discounts cannot be any deeper than 10% in terms of a straight line promotional offer. So we believe that we are absolutely putting our best foot forward with 10% off of the core products that you see here. Convention is the only time that any kind of double dipping or combining of offers will be allowed. And that's to drive incentive, obviously, for franchisees to attend convention. So you can see in February, where we have the 10% off and a 50% off cordless. Once we exit that into March, we're back to the standard 10% off offering. So Rachel or Ed, do you want to overview the other promotional offers that are available for our competitors to run?
Well, I think it's important to note that we believe ES will be running menu options again in Q1. However, once Budget Blinds rolls out their new touchpoint system, which we believe will be happening at the end of Q1 or early Q2, so that March-April timeframe, that new touchpoint system that they're rolling out will not allow for menu options anymore. It just simply won't. It'll only allow Budget Blinds to program one offer for each of us, essentially. And so I think that's really important to note, that they're going to try to come out of the gate with their menu options again, but just know that that will be ending over the course of a few months. And as Sean mentioned, when we look at February, this is the only time that we're aware of that any vendor will be allowed to layer promotions. And I also wanted to add that one of the restrictions in terms of option promotions is no more than a 50% discount. So we, along with all of our competitors, cannot run free cordless anymore. So when you look at February, this is a really, really strong promotion. And, you know, it's really going to be on all of you to communicate this new landscape to your franchisees and help them understand that this isn't Springs or ES or anyone else kind of tamping back the promotions, if you will, that we've got a new environment and a new set of rules that Budget Blinds is imposing, and we're doing the best job we can to take the information we have anecdotally from our franchisees on what performs the best for them, along with our data and what performs the best for us, and we're trying to make the best choices possible to put the strongest promotional calendar together that we can.
So the options available to vendor alliance partners are up to 10% off discount.
Correct.
Or up to 50% off options, or buy more, save more.
Correct.
Those are not to be coupled at any point in time outside of the convention special timing.
And with the buy more, save more, our initial discussions were that was not to exceed 10% either. And so, you know, typically you all know that the buy more, save more we've offered have gone up to 15%. So again, that 10% maximum is being imposed on buy more, save more as well.
We fully embrace this strategy from corporate. Think about the retail environment, big box retail that has gotten completely out of control. What was a 15% off went to 20, 25, 30, 40, 50% off with Levelor, and you know that is not good category management. And similar, you know, along those lines, last year, in 2018, with CVG offering many franchises essentially a 20% discount with a 10% off and a 10% incremental rebate, and that swayed a lot of their purchase behavior. So we fully embrace this. This levels the playing field. It creates a rational, competitive environment for us to compete in. Anything else on promotions that are available to other vendor partners?
No. So the key action for all of you here is make sure your franchisees understand there's a new environment around promotions. Like Sean said, we're fully supportive of it. It's being driven by Budget Blinds corporate, not by the vendor community. But make sure they understand the changes in the Q1 promotional schedule and make sure they understand the value of it. I mean, this really does provide them with a great value despite some of the changes in the environment.
We're going to take a look at 2019 pricing here in a moment. And what I want to frame up before we get into the specifics of it are there are really two primary drivers as we look at pricing that drive our strategy. First and foremost, it is the competitive environment. We are keying off of Enlightened Style and Norman, typically, you know, directly, and then depending on the product line, there may be a more specialized competitor that we're looking at as well. So all of the pricing that we're going to take a look at, especially in light of the promotional environment becoming a more even playing field, we believe that we absolutely maintain a inflation on all of the pricing. Secondly, we obviously have to look at our input costs inflation. And so there is a strong inflationary environment. We are dealing with corrugate, aluminum, rates that are astronomical and just continue to drive double-digit cost increases for us on that front. There are some tariffs that are affecting us. We will not have specific tariff-related pricing. It's just kind of getting baked into our overall cost of goods sold increases. But we just wanted to make sure that you kind of understand that before we get into the specifics. So go to the next slide here. This is the pricing that has already been communicated to Budget Blind's corporate that will be communicated here in the next 24 hours to the franchisees via bulletin. It is effective February 1st, and we're breaking out U.S. and Canada here. So let's talk about U.S. specifically.
You'll see that we've got a range for most of the product lines. That's because you all know sometimes different grids or even cells within grids can vary. So for vertical blinds, we've got 7% in the U.S., horizontal 5%, classic Roman 4%. Wood blinds, there's going to be a range from approximately 4 to 8%. Faux and composite, roughly 7.5%. Composite shutters, 6%. Wood shutters, 8%. Woven wood shades, 5 to 8%. Solar and roller shades, 4 to 9%. Panel track, 5 to 9%. The soft Roman, 2 to 3%. Draperies, 6 to 13%. And Signature Select Cellular, 7.5%. So as Sean said, these will all be effective in the U.S. on February 1st. And then for Canada, you'll see that the increases are slightly higher in some cases.
And let me just address Canada. We did a deep dive financial analysis into our Canadian business, and this is a bit of a correction year for us. And quite frankly, we should have been taking much more significant price increases in Canada over the past few years. Had we done that, these price increases wouldn't be as dramatic as they are. But we are actually losing money on a few product lines that will be discontinued. MTM, wood, and composite shutters, not wood blinds, but wood and composite shutters will be discontinued February 1st. And really the driver of that is twofold. The first is currency exchange. When we set the relationship between U.S. and Canadian pricing back a number of years ago, the loonie was much closer to a one-to-one relationship with the U.S. dollar. The Canadian dollar has weakened significantly. The last I looked, I think it was a 25% delta, and we have not taken or accommodated that kind of weakening of currency. That has dramatically impacted our profitability in Canada. Add to that then the increasing freight rates, which have been even more impactful in the way that we distribute in Canada, and that was a recipe for very poor margins. So you can see all we're trying to do here is get well on a margin perspective, but you also have to know we've been dialed into the competitive environment. In many cases, we had a much bigger gap versus our competitors in Canada than we did in the U.S. Within the vendor alliance. So in many cases, this puts us just more on par in terms of a pricing relationship between the U.S. and Canadian franchisees.
So we will be providing to all of you a PDF of this presentation after the call, but we will also be providing to you a copy of the letter later today that will go out to the franchisees, hopefully this afternoon. So you will have that communication available to you. So really the expectation is that, you make your franchisees aware of the price increase and the product discontinuations in Canada that are effective on February 1st. So Sean mentioned the astronomical increases in freight carriers that have been impacting the industry. And so along with the product price increase, we will also be changing our handling fees again, effective on February 1st. This communication will be included in the letter that you receive and the franchisees receive that lays out the entire product price increase. So just a quick overview here. In the U.S., there'll be a $1 handling increase to blinds, shades, soft, shutters, and drapery hardware, not to exceed $95 per order. There's a $3.50 handling increase for verticals, panel tracks, again, not to exceed $95 per order. There's a $95 oversized surcharge for orders of all products over 96 inches in width. Now, this is an important change. We are trying to align ourselves better with the carriers and their stipulations around oversize. And so this is a change. It's going from 102 inches down to 96 inches on February 1st. There is a $75 handling charge for all orders going to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. And in the case there's an oversized shipment going to Alaska, Hawaii, or Puerto Rico, that's the $75 handling charge plus $155 oversized surcharge for Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. In Canada, we've got the $1 handling increase for blinds, shades, shutters, soft, drapery hardware, and then $3.50 on the vertical panel track. And then again, $100 oversized surcharge, and that impacts over 96 inches, no longer 102, but it's dropping down to 96 inches. So again, this will be in the letter that you receive and the franchisees receive, and this will also be effective on February 1st.
The change to 96-inch for the oversized surcharge, that aligns with the FedEx brake. So they implemented a 96-inch brake a couple of years ago. We have just been taking a pretty significant negative hit on those oversized surcharges for anything over 96 inches to date. Before we move on, I just want to make it clear on both the handling and the actual pricing that in almost every single case we've taken the same and in most cases higher price increases in Graver than we are implementing with Signature Series. We're also getting competitive pricing, which when we initially looked at our 2019 increases, we assumed a 4% competitive price increase. Generally speaking, what we're seeing is in the 5 to 6% range, in some cases double digits on shutters. So we will be in a very competitive situation with respect to budget blinds and the vendor alliance partners.
Next, we will be implementing a sample book increase, but just on select books. This will be effective January 7th, so the start of convention next year. And you can see the details highlighted in orange. So the woven wood book will go up to $300 US, $345 Canadian. The inspired drapes, the full collection, will go up to $500 US, $575 Canadian. Cellular and pleated will go up to $350 US, $403 Canadian. And solar roller will go up to $375 US and $431 Canadian. All of the other sample books will stay the same price. Again, this will be effective January 7th, so the start of convention, and this will also be in the letter that you and the franchisees receive. We wanted that letter to be as comprehensive as possible, so basically everything we've outlined here will be covered in one single letter. All right, so now let's move on to our 2019 Signature Club Loyalty Program. You know, our strategy here is always to maintain a best-in-class program that provides the franchisees with a comprehensive, group of rewards, incenting their loyalty and their sales with Signature Series. So we have some exciting enhancements to overview with you today. Before we get to the program details, we did want to share at a high level what our franchisees are saying about this program, because clearly their feedback is important to us, and we want to make sure that we're tailoring this program each year to make our investments more efficient, but also give them more of what they want. So we surveyed all of our Signature Club loyalty members this year, and some of the key takeaways were just over 50% of them reported that the Signature Club program influences their selling behavior. That's really important to us. That means that this program is meaningful to the majority of our franchisees. When we ask them or force them to choose what's important to them, product discounts was one of the things that popped to the very top. And when we asked them about the incentive travel program, Signature Destinations, 50% indicated that it was very important or important to them. So these are some of the inputs that we took to, look for opportunities to evolve this program and strengthen it in 2019.
And Rachel, before we get into our specifics, there are also some guidelines being driven from corporate related to loyalty programs, specifically related to rebates. So rebates are no longer allowed within the loyalty program, and what was at one point intended to be a healthy volume and incremental rebate escalated into what we saw in 2018 with 10% here and 10% there. So Budget Lines Corporate determined that there will be no rebates allowed in the loyalty programs.
So here's a snapshot of the program grid for 2019, and you will notice that the rebate is absent for the reason that Sean just outlined. So one of the exciting enhancements to the program is co-op. So we are increasing those percentages across the board. And one of the other exciting enhancements is the Best Choice Guarantee. So that's something that ranked quite high with franchisees as well. And this is increasing across the board as well. So this new program is going to be launched at convention the week of January 7th. There will be a call while we're all at convention with the FSRs, giving you even more detail with what's happening at convention and what you need to know. But in terms of your key action item, as this program is communicated to the franchisees, we really need you to engage with the franchisees and help them understand the benefits of this program, the changes in the program that benefit them, but also, helping them understand the value that this program provides. If they use this program effectively, it can really enhance their bottom line.
On the co-op, that is also being capped on the co-op from a corporate perspective. My understanding is you cannot exceed 3% co-op.
That is correct.
So for our President's Club, they will be receiving the max allowable with the co-op.
Correct. So here's a quick overview of what's continuing, what's changing, and what's discontinued. So in terms of continuing what we have today, the training rebate will stay in place. The ability for them to order Signature Series gear on SWF Connect will stay in place. We will continue with an incentive travel program. The literature and merchandising discounts will stay in place as they are today. The same goes for the product discounts. Those discounts will stay the same as they are today. They will still have, in certain tiers, the ability to pre-order some of our new sample books. And we will also continue with the Premier Customer Service program. In terms of what's changing, we are enhancing the co-op program. So here is the incremental change for each level. So bronze and silver are getting an incremental 0.25% versus the 2018 program. Gold is getting an incremental 0.5%. Platinum, an incremental 0.75%. And the President's Club is getting a full incremental 1%. And as Sean mentioned, that puts the President's Club at 3%, which again is the highest that any vendor is able to allow or give for advertising co-op. In terms of the Best Choice Guarantee, all levels are getting one additional or incremental Best Choice Guarantee for 2019. And then finally, as we already mentioned, the vendor rebate is being discontinued. This is per Budget Lines Corporate, and it will impact all suppliers. So again, make sure your franchisees understand the benefits of the program, the changes in the program, and the value that it provides. All right, and now we're going to talk about Signature Destinations.
As part of a survey that we did this year, we also surveyed the franchisees on the value and the perceived benefit of the Signature Destinations incentive trip to kind of see how much it swayed their business. 50% of those surveyed said it was either very important or important. So we continue to invest in this program because we do see the benefits. Not only is it an opportunity to kind of get them on our side, but it's an opportunity while we are traveling on the trip to kind of connect with franchisees and for them to share best practices and to foster those relationships that we know are very important within this channel. We haven't yet announced our destination for 2020, but we have been including some trip teasers in some pre-convention emails that we have been sending out. We can assure you that it is really an amazing, alluring destination, somewhere we think that they would never guess we're going. So we really want to hype it up. Tracy will be announcing it at convention, and our key action here is to really engage all the franchisees, sit down with them, kind of develop an action plan, discuss their goal for the trip. As Sean said earlier, in this business, it's really important to get off to a strong start, and we think this trip paired with, our programs and our product launches will really kind of help give us that leg up that we need. We know that Enlightened Style has announced their trip to Jamaica, but we definitely think our destination will blow theirs out of the water. So we really want your help in getting the franchisees pumped up once we announce our destination, kind of get them partnering with us and work with them to create an action plan to travel with us in 2020. The tiers for the Signature Destinations incentive trip will remain the same. We'll include it in the PDF that we send out to you. All the tiers are going to remain the same for what you need to achieve to travel with us in 2020. The only change is to non-SIG club members. So franchisees who purchase under $50,000 annually, their goal has changed from $75K to $80K. So all other levels and their goal incentive will stay the same. So marketing for 2019, as you guys know, a lot of our marketing will be focused around our product launches. We've got some amazing product launches coming up in 2019. In Q2, we have cellular and pleated. Cellular and pleated is going to be a huge launch for us, and we really want them to kind of get excited about it, but seeing as it's not launching until Q2, we need to continue the momentum, utilizing our promotions. We're going to be starting off with that 10% promotion. Cellular and pleated is included in that, so really not giving them an excuse to kind of hold out until that launch, getting them on our side for all product lines, including cellular and pleated, talking up that promotion and letting them know about the great improvements and enhancements that will be coming in Q2. In addition to cellular and pleated, we are excited to launch sheer and layered. So this is brand new for us at Budget Blinds, and this will really round out our product portfolio. We can truly say that we have a solution for every consumer and every window with this new type of shade. We're also going to be doing an update to MTM faux wood. So most of our marketing at convention will be focused around these Q2 product launches, and we will be selling sampling, and franchisees can use their co-op to purchase sampling for these product launches. Later in the year, we are planning an update to the solar roller product line. This will include new fabrics, new blackout editions, some new kind of commercial focused fabrics to kind of imitate some of those Pfeiffer fabrics, and then also some new rollers that are some beautiful textures. Also planning for a tethered motor, and then potentially an update to inspired drapes. So because timing on these Q3 ones is a little bit further out at convention, really most of our focus is going to be focused on Q2 launches. And the key action here for you guys is to train the franchisees on these new programs, on the new benefits and features, and get them to place sample books.
I would add another key action, particularly around cellular. Really cellular is where we've seen a lot of our share erosion at Budget Blinds this year. So we will, ISM will be a focus on the new cellular program, but will also be a focus on maintaining maintaining our momentum and the sales that we have in growing with the current cellular program. We can't concede almost half the year on a cellular program and let our competition get momentum early on. So we absolutely need to utilize the tools that we have in our toolbox today.
Just a quick review of what we provide today to support these product launches. We have a slew of different marketing and training tools that both you can use to train your franchisees and they can use to advertise and market to their consumers. All of these assets here are available either for download or for order on SWF Connect. So in regards to print, we've got new product launch kits. We've got an all products brochure that's kind of a cool inspirational brochure that talks about every single product line. We are refreshing that for next year to include sheer and layered, our sample books, and that's just to name a few. And then looking over on the other side, we've got our digital. Knowing that not only our marketing, but also our franchisees' marketing has become more and more digital, we've started to take a lot of our communication to them digitally, but also provide them with tools that they can use to digitally market to their consumers. So we've got digital toolkits that are generic that they can go in and customize. So they can take a digital, Facebook ad and customize it with whatever offer that franchisee is running during that time period, as well as tons of training videos. Every time we host a webinar, we record it and we put it up on SWF Connect. That's just to name a few. So key action here is to familiarize yourself with SWF Connect so you can train your franchisees. Maybe some of them have used it, but they haven't used it in a while and they don't know all of the updates that we are continually doing to that website. So maybe in one of your upcoming meetings, you just kind of go sit down and show them some of the new things. There is also a self-guided webinar on SWF Connect about how to use it. So if you aren't feeling the most confident, it would be great for you to go ahead and do that and then maybe train on this website. So this is something new that we just kind of started to dabble in 2018 and we will continue with in 2019 is our enhanced marketing communication. So we decided instead of just doing PDFs or bulletins or posting things on My BBI, could we look at doing direct email? So we partnered with Budget Blinds Corporate to kind of devise a plan for direct marketing to the franchisees because previously they were very kind of stringent on this. They didn't want all of the vendors within the vendor alliance sending weekly emails to the franchisees because that's kind of an overload of information, but they'd allowed us to start testing these emails. And what's cool about these emails is they can be dynamic. So we included call to actions. When we were promoting Design Inc., we said, click here to view a video or click here to order sampling, and it would take you directly to SWF Connect. So these emails, we saw great success. We had a 44% average open rate, which exceeds the industry average, which was only 16%. And we had a 6.7 click-through rate. So that means they were actually clicking through whatever links were embedded onto the email. And that, again, is above the industry average. So all of these emails are also sent to you. So key action here is to be aware of these, read them, and use these emails as a point of discussion when meeting with your franchisees. Make sure they saw them and kind of click through to see what was included in these emails. Another new piece that we are launching next year is a new style guide. So previously we called this a trend guide. We are renaming it Style and Design Inspiration Guide. It's an inspirational piece to help you and your consumers kind of make smart choices on window treatments. So you and your franchisees and their consumers. It includes different color palettes, accents, accessories, kind of suggesting and how they can create a home that reflects today's beautiful, popular interior design trends. And then within it, we have a spread here just to kind of show you an example of what it looks like for a specific trend. So this is a black and bold trend. So there's a kind of a mood board on the left. We show a room scene, and then there's a fold-out page that we can't see on here that includes swatches. So it suggests what types of our product lines and which exact fabrics or colors could they use to achieve this trend. this will be available for sale at convention. So we heard some really great feedback about our previous trend guide, and this one is kind of even one step above and beyond. It's super professional and very cool. So really engage your franchisees and promote the value of this tool, even if they just have it kind of sitting out in their showroom. It helps them kind of stand apart and look like a leader in the industry.
Okay, account priorities. Ed.
Good morning. Do we want to take a minute and answer some questions first, or should we just jump right into it?
Let's go ahead and let's take about 5 minutes and answer any questions that we have.
Okay, yes, we do have questions that came through chat. Going back to the handling fees, is the 96 inches the box size or product ordered size? The restriction on the additional fees for 96 oversized.
I believe that it is the product ordered size, because
Correct.
that's what's driving the overall packaging size. But let us take a follow-up. It's a good question. We'll take a follow-up and validate that.
Okay. It says $1 increase, but what is the total price per unit? And the $3.50 increase again, what would be total per, again, regarding the handling fee? We can put that, we can post that with this. We've got a chart that shows what the total is.
It's different by different product lines.
It's different by different product lines, so we can post that. Okay. More so of a marketing question, will we be providing a 2019 Signature Club program brochure like last year? Franchises loved having that.
We will be, last year we kind of had two different brochures. One was a convention brochure that highlighted upcoming news for this year, 2018, and then we had a separate Signature Club brochure. This year we're going to be combining the two into one really professional kind of piece that we would hope they use as kind of an all-year reference. So everything they need to know, including Signature Club details.
We have a request of, can we get a list of who will be attending convention?
Yes, we just got the final one yesterday, so I will post that and some other pertinent information on the team site today.
Regarding the Inspired Drapes update for Q3, can you tell us if the ID fabric update will be new fabrics or a completely new book or bag? It would just be a fabric refresh. It would not be a complete sampling update. We had a question regarding, will there be a new trend magazine for 2019? So Elizabeth went over that. Can we get the style guide sent to us so we can have to show in appointments? Absolutely.
We will actually be sending that out along with the convention brochure, I'd say possibly over the holidays or right after.
Well, thanks, you guys. Now that you guys have seen what the marketing team, and by the way, thank you to Rachel and Elizabeth and Kelly and Brenda and Erica. These guys work their tail off. I'm involved in tons of their meetings, so they've set the table for us. It's up to us to pull it through to the end. And I've kind of outlined 3 priorities. Now, this is, we have a lot of things that we need to accomplish next year. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about quality and service. We've been beat up a little bit this year, but I want to point out, and I know there's a lot of you guys out there that can list names if we had to, but we've had a number of franchises have some frustration with quality, go over to Enlightened Style or go over to Norman, and within months they're back. In fact, one of our biggest increases this year was Dan Parlin, who jumped ship to Norman last year and now is up over 100,000 this year. So every vendor is going to have a quality and service issue. And really it's up to us and it's up to the organization to determine how you handle those things. And I think we handle them better than anybody. And that's part of our job as field salespeople, is to work with customer service, work with inside sales, and get those things handled. So quality and service is going to be a topic. We need to reinforce that although we've had some issues historically, most of those are in history. And right now we look at the data, and every once in a while we'll have calls with franchises and review the data. 80+% of the issues that they have today are products that were made prior to a lot of our updates that we made in 2018 and 2017. So we need to keep and be diligent on that kind of stuff. We have calls. We have a new VP of quality. His name is Matt Moulton. We've got Matt involved. He's been a big help. So quality and service is something that we need to be diligent about, and it's how we handle it that really makes the difference. So let's just make sure we're on top of those things going forward. I want to point out, and I have some other slides on these topics, but BBCS and builders is something that we're going to be focusing on again next year. We're working with Leanne on a builder presentation at convention, and that will then move into some webinar series. We have some other webinar series too, but builders is a big opportunity for us. So just make sure that your franchises are aware of what's going on. We'll be posting a lot more information on this going forward. But BBCS has been a big plus for us over the last few years. We have about 70% of their BBCS for commercial business. And so we continue to invest in that. And that's a big thing going forward. And the last thing I have here is our top 140. We looked at the business. And by the way, and I think most of you guys know this, but January and February of 2018 were very strong months for us. We came out over the previous year. And it was really the escalation in the promotions from Enlightened Style that really turned the table March forward. And we sat down and looked at those franchises that we had lost some business the first few months. And it was our top 40 program that we initiated. And that was a combination of inside sales, budget blinds account team, the regionals, and you reps in the field. And quite frankly, we're doing better now with that group that was down the most than we are with the all other franchises. So I think that was a good exercise. We're going to look at the franchises that we need to focus on for 2019 and put a little bit more emphasis on them as well. But I'd like to thank you guys and also thank the inside sales, Jen Feist, Jen King, Mandy, Sandy. It was a team effort, and we're going to do that again for 2019. So everybody knows that franchises are unique. They all have their own trigger points. It's really up to you and to us to figure out what it is that makes them tick, and those are the things we need to focus on. So these are a few priorities, but you have to sit down and figure out what is going to make the difference for each individual franchise. So moving on to some of the things that we implemented this year, one of the things that I think really helped was posting these quality and service improvements. We tried to do it on a weekly basis or every other week. And pretty much throughout the year, with a few exceptions, we were better than the competition. And we obviously started the communication process. They're doing it now too, which has helped us take advantage of some of their shortcomings. But this is something that I think has been a real key to helping us communicate where we are, and that's really what the franchises are looking for. So make sure they're all aware of what we have going there. Quality and service, we're going to continue to post the advantages that we've got. And this was a campaign Travis and Elizabeth talked about 2 product lines, Wooden Faux and Cellular. And there's a lot of information in here. We've seen significant improvements to the data. And hopefully you guys are using this information when you sit down with franchises. Again, we're never going to be perfect, but we have made significant improvements and we continue to make improvements. And this made a big difference as far as what our metrics show on improving the quality. So this will be especially big, I think, going into 2019 with all the cellular and pleated new fabrics and new products that we have coming out. There is a video that Travis has on SWF Connect, which talks about the quality improvement. So if you haven't seen that, go out and use that. And we've seen some franchises use that or reps use that with franchises in the field. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about BBCS. And one of the things, I know you guys are seeing some of the price increases and some of the freight increases, things like that. I want you to know that we have offset those increases with the investments that we make. We make a lot of investments into budget blinds. BBCS is one of the areas where we invest over $100,000 a year on networking shows, on building their national account business. And it's paid off. As you can see, we are a significant part of their BBCS and continue to grow. And we need to take advantage of that. Franchises need to know that we are the engine behind their commercial business, and we will continue to be. Here are just some of the national accounts that we've helped them secure. And Edward Jones, Topgolf, FedEx, we just had a Topgolf order the other day for close to $10,000. Edward Jones has been, I think we've had over 500 Edward Jones installations in 2018. Year over year change is up 18%. So if franchises are engaged in these kind of business, make sure that they know that we're the reason that these national accounts are there. And not only is it important for them to get these leads, but this helps just their overall business value. Having these types of accounts when they go to sell the business eventually is a big plus for them. So we're helping them in many different ways. I think, as you guys know, that we hired Matt Whitmer a couple of years ago. And Matt, and now we've added Ashley, and we actually added Sheila this year to the technical sales side of inside sales. And they've had a significant impact with their plan reading, their organization, helping franchises with complex orders and complex projects. So we've had some significant growth here. Project wins up 440%, win percentage up 144%. Matt and Ashley copy me on every single email. I think they're copying you too. And you're seeing a lot of franchises that are really engaging in this, and something that they basically couldn't do without our support. So this is, again, another value that we're adding, and hopefully you guys are taking advantage of this ability that nobody else really has. All right, so for 2019, for BBCS, we really are focusing on 4 different things. National accounts we talked about. Builders will be, you'll see some new materials, marketing materials coming out on builders later in the year. There's national builders, but we're also focusing on local builders. So this will be an engagement piece for you guys to help franchises work with local builders. It's a big part of every franchise's networking. And so just be aware of that and watch for that to come. Technical sales, it's Matt and Ashley, and then your support. Your support is key to all of this really coming together, and it gives you something that no other vendor has to walk in and talk about. Our 140, this is just an overview of where we track this on a monthly basis. I know this is kind of an eye chart, but you'll see over on the left, our 140 group has actually outpaced the all other, which is AO, the last few months. So we're seeing some significant increase with some of these accounts. I think Sean had mentioned earlier, we have some franchises, or a number of franchises, up well over $100,000 this year. So it's possible. A lot of it comes down to relationships. That's where you come in. So let's make sure that we're using all the bullets that we have and maintain those relationships and take advantage of everything that we have. And just one more thing that's not in here that I wanted to mention. We are continuing, and I know a lot of you guys helped out last year with the Home for Our Troops. We are continuing to contribute product to that program. We're working with the Budget Alliance Corporate on a marketing campaign for that. So that's something else to be proud of. And we need to make sure that those franchises that are involved in Home for Our Troops, and if you guys are working with them, again, just another opportunity to show that we care and that we're doing our part to build their brand in the marketplace.
All right, thank you, Ed. So next we wanted to recap the actions from this call and our expectations of you going into 2019. For pricing and promotions, so ensure all franchisees are aware of the product price increase effective on February 1st. Ensure they're aware of the sample book price increase. That will be effective at convention January 7th. And ensure that they understand the changing landscape of promotions and that they understand the details of our calendar and the value that we're providing. For Signature Club, ensure all franchisees understand the new program, make sure they understand the changes in the program, make sure they understand the benefits and the value of partnering with Signature Series and giving us their loyalty. For Signature Destinations, make sure you're engaging all of your franchisees, discuss the trip, and work proactively with them to set a goal for the trip and help them develop a plan to meet that goal. Make sure they understand, those that aren't in the Signature Club, that there is a slight increase in their goal to earn that trip as well. For product launches and marketing, make sure you're training your franchisees on the new programs that are coming, the benefits of those programs, and placing sample books. Familiarize yourself with SWF Connect and train the franchisees and their office associates on it. There are so many resources that are out there and available to them. And, you know, sometimes we hear that they don't know how to find things or they get overwhelmed. Don't assume they know everything about the site. Be proactive in terms of training them and engaging them. And make sure you're reading those direct emails that Elizabeth talked about. It was a huge opportunity that Tracy at the Budget Blinds corporate office gave us to be able to communicate with franchisees directly, which is typically not allowed. So this is a huge advantage for us to get our messaging out. So make sure you're staying on top of the content in those emails as well and engaging your franchisees on them. And in terms of account priorities, again, ensure your franchisees are aware of all of our product and quality improvements in 2018. We put out a lot of information throughout 2018 on the specific improvements to specific product lines, so make sure you keep that in front of them. Work with your franchisees on quality and service pain points to ensure positive momentum moving forward in 2019. Engage with your franchisees on BBCS opportunities. It's a strength for us and it's an area of growth, so we want to maximize that. And leverage the BB account team in inside sales whenever you need our help to target new franchisees in 2019.
So let's just wrap it up here. I cannot stress enough how important Q1 is to the success of 2019. We have a home run launch in cellular. I believe that it will drive share gains for the back half of the year. I'm not concerned about that at all. We have to win the first part of this year. So stay focused, programs that we have, make the best use of those to our advantage.
All right, questions?
We did have a couple questions come through regarding more information on the tethered motor, but not sure if we want to get into that right now.
Yeah, I think that was maybe just a little premature. We have more of an opening price point motor plan for late in 2019. So nothing that you need to concern yourselves with quite yet.
And then more so of a request, can we get shipping times and back order times all together in one bulletin?
Yes, that will all be included.
Okay. And then can we get a list of the BBI team members of who does what? So more so like a chart.
We can send out our bios again.
Just to let you know, that is on the field sales team site under contacts, under Budget Blinds. We did update it and we did put descriptions in there. So that is available to you if you want it now. You can go out to the field sales team site and it's on the main page for contacts and you can reference that information. Other questions?
Yeah, hey, this is Leon Stovall. Hey, quick question. Are you guys going to be talking about any changes to the basics program at convention? Because I got a lot of franchises asking about whether or not we're going to go cordless or not.
Yep, that's one of our launches. So that's what we referred to as the MTM Forward. So that's going to be launching in Q2. So that's kind of going to be a refresh on the Signature Basics program.
So basically the Signature Basics program as it exists today will be discontinued in that April timeframe, and it will be replaced by a cordless Forward program. The reason we're going with just cordless Forward is because the vast majority of the sales of the entire Signature Basics collection is basically Forward. So it really didn't make sense to offer all of those other products. So that transition will happen around the April timeframe.
And I would just add, Rachel, that the existing current corded basics program will be available until the new one launches. We're not bringing in any more inventory, so inventory will be available until it's depleted, but you can still order that product. And I know we're getting a lot of calls and requests because Norman has discontinued their corded essentials program, but you can't get our corded program until it is no longer available.
All right, thank you everyone for your time today. We really appreciate it, and we hope that this was a helpful outline for you to make you feel prepared going into 2019. There will be a call, as we mentioned, during the week of convention to also get you guys up to speed on everything that's going to be discussed and kind of presented at Convention 2019. So thanks so much and happy holidays.